Hi, I'm Brian Horton.
Peter Ramsey. Phil Lord.
Chris Miller.
James Ham. I am a senior animator on Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Spider-Verse. Nailed it!
Hi, my name's Saladin Ahmed, and I write Miles Morales Spider-Man for Marvel Comics.
Hey, Saladin. I'm a fan.
Likewise.
Yeah.
We are honored and ashamed of ourselves to be in your presence.
Yeah, I'm the new Spider-Man. Check it out. Whoa! That was part of the move.
What I love about Miles is he is really contemporary, but still has the heart of what I think Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created, which is a hero that's like all of us. Really early on into the idea of what if we made the movie about Miles was what if Miles put Peter in the position to have to be an adult, which he had never done before.
With great power comes
Don't
great...
you dare finish that sentence. Don't do it.
And that seemed suddenly very exciting because a movie can't be about a person, it has to be about a relationship. You know, we had the person, but we didn't necessarily have the relationship. And as it turned out, you know, the Peter relationship was sort of secondary to a bunch of other relationships that are in Miles' family. That was one of the discoveries of making the picture, but we knew we had something to start with, I guess.
For me, it was all about building Brooklyn, you know, and I think you guys did something similar in the film. You know, the place that the hero comes from is part of the hero and is part of the hero's team in a weird way, right? So you build this neighborhood, you think about what does this neighborhood look like, what is it, and especially you guys could deal with what does it sound like, right? We tried to evoke that on the page as best we could, but to produce a Brooklyn that produces our hero, to me, is the first part of that. Iron Man's power being that he's rich enough to build the armor, right? Tony Stark's power is his mind, but his money. Miles, I think, is his heart and his community.
Yeah, it was foundational to our process, was how do we ensure that everything we do for this story is specific to Miles Morales and the fact that he has these two aspects of his personality. And we thought about, well, where would be the best place for him to go if he had to move from Brooklyn? And when we instantly thought of East Harlem, it was like, oh, wonderful. We get a chance to see Rio's childhood home, to understand the culture from her eyes. And when we put out our demo where we show Miles walking through his neighborhood and the representation of Puerto Rico just imbued on the streets through the music, through the flags, through the pride, through the language that you just hear organically, all of that was the team coming together with this very specific goal to ensure that the world that Miles Morales was living in felt real.
Yeah, and after that demo came out, seeing the fans' reaction to that moment, just to seeing the flag, really I felt like it let the studio know that we're doing the right thing by showing this authenticity. And I remember growing up being from Florida, I have a lot of friends that were Puerto Rican and seeing that flag everywhere, and it was just a normal thing. It didn't feel like it's forced in your face, and that's what we wanted to convey in the game. It's not just a forced thing, it's everyday life there. That's a part of their culture. That's a part of authenticity that comes with them. And I think putting that in Miles just meant so much to so many people, and finding a way to have this in the game to show representation for everyone and having it mean so much to so many people. The team did so much research, and I remember in particular in dinner, the amount of research that the team did just to find out which dishes that they wanted to have this Puerto Rican dinner, with Genki and with Finn and Rio. And to have that feel like you've been there before, like you can smell the food through the game. And I know they did so much research on getting that stuff right.
So honestly, for us, the more specific we could make it, you know, down to what's in the pot that Miles's mother is making that he sneaks a bite of, you know, we know what that is, you know. As specific as we could get it, it's a celebration of the things about those cultures and those people that are great and that we take to heart. You know, quite a bit has been made of the fact that, you know, when the characters speak Spanish in the movie, there's no subtitles. What we were going for was this sort of unforced authenticity. You know, you're just observing real people doing what real people do. And the minute you do that, and you're doing it from a place of empathy and understanding, rather than constantly reminding yourself that there's a difference between you and somebody else. You realize, no, there are universal things that all people share, and you can instantly, no matter what culture you are, you're going to recognize certain things that bond you to these characters and make them real for you.
I like that you guys made him the new kid on the block. I thought that was a really clever way to talk about how he feels as a superhero in his sort of everyday Miles life. And these guys were kind enough to invite us over to their place and show us some of what they were working on. And we were really blown away with their observation and the details that they found in their Harlem location. And I just thought I'd give a great dimension to the game that we didn't get to explore in the movie.
And one thing that we found pretty early on was that the more specific and the more culturally specific and character specific Miles got, the more universal he became, because he wasn't just sort of like a generic avatar for everyone. Like, the specificity let audiences relate to him more in a way that would be almost contrary to what you might expect, but that ended up being the case.
Well, you guys influenced us tremendously too. I gotta say, when we saw the film, we had already developed a bit of story for what our game would be, but we were heartened and freaked out by how good of a story you guys told with Miles, and how much his specificity, all of the small details that you brought into his character that were cultural touchstones, but also just human moments, really helped us raise our game. So I just wanted to say that on many fronts, it was sort of like the synergistic energy that we were both feeling, but you definitely raised the bar, and it really inspired the team a lot.
And I gotta say, guys, yeah, the movie is phenomenal, and I'm not exaggerating. I did see it so many times in theaters.
It makes me so happy.
After the first game, where I came from, they considered me like the Spider-Man guy. So everyone I knew wanted to see Into the Spider-Verse in theaters with me. So like, I saw it. It's so good, and it just felt, watching that movie felt so relatable in so many different ways, considering the relationship he has with his uncle, the relationship he has with his dad, even just the professions of his father being a police officer, and how that can affect him as a person of color growing up. And that, like, the whole thing was just amazing. So thank you for such a great movie.
Oh man, thank you. And you're right to shout out the fans for embracing something. It gives everybody confidence. It gives the studio confidence. The fact that, like, it's so important that people went to see it. Just any more proof that you can win this way is really important.